Arsenal versus Man City live from the Etihad Stadium. This is a big game. It's the FA Cup, which isn't the one either team really won, but
it's a testing the waters kind of thing,
dipping
right?
waters
Yeah.
too. And I feel like this game is a game that lets us know what this rivalry could potentially be like. Is this going to be rivalry like those Liverpool City games that we saw during those years where we see like 2-1 on the best of all? Arsenal at that level now, and I feel like this is what's going to let us know what could happen when they face each other in the league. So what do you think is going to happen in this game?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I feel like it could go either one or two ways, right? Either that way that you said, where it's like testing the waters to see how. That's when both sides actually come into this one meaning to win it, right? Arsenal will go with all their players, Man City will go with all their starters. But there's also the possibility that Mikel Arteta might decide to focus on the Premier League.
Guy, what is wrong with Atletico Madrid and their fans? And they beef with Vinicius Junior.
So the thing is, it just comes from a very, very nasty place, right? Like, it is. I'm just glad actually that he scored against them.
And the game turned out the way it did. But before the game, what is this?
So there have been issues of like racist attacks against Vinicius Junior for the past couple of weeks now, and it has been coming to a head.
Like say months now.
Yes, months actually.
Pre the World Cup, I believe.
Before the World Cup, yes. And interestingly, it was not even just before the World Cup. There have been, just hints and bits of it over time, over the years.
Yeah.
And it really came to a head, just before the World Cup, and it has now spilled off into something that...
It's gotten to a whole other level now.
There was a whole banner on an expressway, and actually the authorities are looking into it. They're trying to figure out who did it. But it's just unnecessary.
So if you don't know about the banner, I'm sure maybe a picture may or may not come up because it's actually quite graphic and it's quite traumatic. So there's a banner of a doll wearing Vinicius Junior hanging off a bridge in Madrid with a message that said Madrid hates Real. And this isn't the first time that they've done this. There's times where they were obviously doing the monkey chants at him at the stadium and he was leaving the stadium.
Yeah.
And it's just ugly, and it's a bad look for Atletico Madrid as a football club to be known as one of these clubs.
And to be honest with you, it's a bad look for Spanish football. It's a bad look for La Liga. This is a situation where, okay, imagine, was it not yesterday or so, that news came out that Bournemouth were trying to get Nicolo Zaniolo, and AC Milan were in the same race for the same player. And then somebody made a comment and said, football is broken. How is it possible that a Bournemouth side, that's basically a mid-table side in England, is battling with Italian champions for a player? But we're talking about the health of a league. These things affect the financial health of your league. So if the RFEF does not look into this and stamp their foot down on racism and other things of the sort, you definitely will continue to see the disparity between the gains EPL is making and if this would not happen in the Premier League.
We haven't seen such already. So that was coming into the game. So obviously, this was going to be a fiery contest about a derby game as well. So brilliant game of football. Went into extra time. The big players showed up. Was a very good Atletico team to cut Madrid open initially. Madrid were backs against the ropes, but then Rodrigo went crazy.
Bro, so the thing is, at the end of the day...
Flashed his Brazilian passport.
Bro, but really, what would have been your expectations before the game? Madrid have been the better side all season, right?
They're the better side.
But it was surprising to see that Atletico scored first, and they looked like, of course, it's a cup game, quarterfinal Copa del Rey. It was going to be crazy, but really good goals. All four goals actually were solid goals. Atletico's goal, working the ball from the wings. Nice cross into the box. Morata slotting it in, and then Rodrigo's goal was something to behold. They were
all really good. Then Benzema's finish, which came at clutch time to take it to 2-1.
Did you see the angle that ball entered from? It was like
expertise. He's definitely hitting form again. That Pichichi race, as in Lewandowski, might not be gone just yet. And then the icing on the cake was obviously Vinicius Junior. And even before that, Vini Junior had a very had an interesting game because just before that, he got Savic booked for a yellow card. There was a whole fight, and then Vini got booked for his reaction to that. Because obviously, as you can expect,
emotions,
his emotions
of
are
course,
riling
were
up, so
into
obviously
it.
he's going to
Yeah,
react. I don't think he
definitely.
should have been booked for that. Referee should understand circumstances. But then for moments after, for Savage to now get sent off again.
Right.
So this
So
guy
it was just everything just aligning at the end of the day.
everything you wanted.
Karma.
So Atletico Madrid are now in the semi-finals of the Copa del Rey.
Yep.
Barcelona are still in this competition as well, so they could potentially meet in yet
in the
another
finals,
final,
yes.
which will be 2 El Clasico finals in one season. That's one more could you ask for. Speaking about El Clasico and Barcelona, the Barcelona feminine team have just broken a world record, a football world record. This is all genders, aliens, however you want to call it. To win 50 straight games on the bounce. That's not 50 games unbeaten. That's 50 wins on the bounce.
They are unarguably the best female club side in the world.
And with a start like that, you can make a case that they're one of the best club sides in the history.
world.
Like
This
squad, this group of players is one of the best club sides ever. And it's great to see our sister Agbabola.
Agbabola,
you know that.
Sister
You get out there. She just become the feminist team's 4th all-time top goal scorer, which is an incredible record. I think that's 95 goals now for her.
I mean, that's something that's hard to come by. An African player, in Nigeria for that matter. But me, I like to look at the bigger pictures, right? I would credit Barcelona for their investment in female football. Yeah. Imagine a club the size of Manchester United. Their female side is just how many years old? 2 years old. Yeah. But they're doing quite good now. Yeah, Mark Skinner, their coach won Coach of the Month, and they're right up there. But that's besides the point. The investment in female football. We've been seeing record crowds coming to watch female football. We
saw the match at the Nou Camp, didn't they, recently?
Yes, I think that was the Champions League final last season, and then even recently again before the World Cup, we're seeing record numbers coming out to watch female football. So it's massive props to the leadership at Barcelona for their investments in female football. For sure. It's basically onwards and upwards from here.
All right, so still on cup football. Earlier in the week, we had the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Yep. This is a 2-legged affair. The first game was Newcastle v Southampton. Newcastle got the dub over there and have, I guess, it took in the final because they're only 1-0 up, and 1-0, that's not really any lead. But looking at Newcastle being the better side this season, you would assume that they should progress into the final. Let us know your thoughts on that game. And then in the other game, which was Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest, exciting game. It looked like it would be exciting for a bit, but United showed their quality and blew them out. I mean, shout out Marcus Rashford.
Of course, he's on fire. He's on fire. First thing I want to say is, why do you play 2 legs in semi-finals? Like,
a cup that we don't even care about. You should go straight to penalties, honestly.
Let's just go. But that's that they're doing whatever they want to do. So with that, I'll say Newcastle Southampton, that was one of those games where Newcastle just proved themselves again. Like, this is a club this is a side that's showing themselves to be very, very serious, right? This is one of those games where it's a cup game. It's one of those games where anything can come out of, anywhere. This is a Southampton side that has not really been playing extraordinarily this season, but they have a new manager that has done
either way.
And a new manager that has done well in this cup run. This was the side that knocked out Manchester City, do not forget. So
this is true.
They were coming into this one with that confidence, and of course Newcastle were like, okay, you know what, we're definitely the better side, and they edged that 1-0. But for the Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest game, there was that narrative where Nottingham Forest had not appeared in a cup semi-final, quarter-final for a long time. So they're coming into this with all that energy, all that ginger, but within the first 15 minutes, Marcus Rashford just calmed them down basically. But at the end of the day, they were shaky moments for Manchester United, but it was a pretty comfortable victory at the end of the day.
Shout out Weghorst's first goal.
Yes, Weghorst's first goal. I mean, it was a striker's goal, rebound. It was good for him.
So yeah, United 3-0 up. It will take a miracle for Forest to
go back to Old Trafford and get anything.
There's really no points in that game. Right. They'll probably play the kids and let's let them enjoy Old Trafford.
Right.
Well, you can let us know in the comment section what you think is going to happen in that match. What you think the score is going to be. The scoreline, still the scoreline at the end of the day. Still on cup football, we have a cup football weekend in England. It's the FA Cup weekend, so pretty much everybody's still playing. Nobody's really been knocked out just yet. And the big game, which is probably the 2 teams of the season, the biggest game of the season, the biggest matchup of the season, I'll say that. Arsenal versus Man City, live from the Etihad Stadium. This is a big game. It's the FA Cup, which isn't the one either team really won, but it's a... no, can I say it's for play? Okay.
It's a testing the waters kind of thing,
dipping
right?
waters.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like this game is a game that lets us know what this rivalry could potentially be. Like, is this going to be rivalry like those Liverpool City games that we saw during those years where we see like 2-1 on the best football. Arsenal at that level now, and I feel like this is what's going to let us know what could happen when they face each other in the league. So, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I feel like it could go either one or two ways, right? Either that way that you said, where it's like testing the waters to see how. That's when both sides actually come into this one meaning to win it, right? Arsenal will go with all their players, Man City will go with all their starters. But there's also the possibility that Mikel Arteta might decide to focus on the Premier League, right? And rest players, or not necessarily go all out in this game. So there's probably that.
I think psychologically, a win will do wonders for Arsenal.
Most definitely.
He should try and win this game. Because if they lose this game, then they start looking at City like, okay, these guys are actually better than us. And with 19 games to play, they'll probably catch us.
Most definitely.
It's a statement win. If Arsenal win this, it's going to be very loud. The Arsenal fans it's going to be loud.
Bro, Arsenal fans are coming out of the woodwork. Like,
if you thought they were loud,
bro, you could just be walking like this and you just see an Arsenal fan. Like, so you've been there all this time. Like, that's what happened with Arsenal fans right now.
I just put on the TV, let them just see the Super Sport logo.
They just jump out and you just hear
it's
their
actually quite
voices.
incredible. So, Arsenal will let us know what they're about up against Man City. Because the United game, United and Spurs, good games, but City, this is the gold standard in Premier League past 3 years. How do you fare against Pep Guardiola? Let us know in the comment section what you think is going to happen. Anything apart from goals, who do you think is going to be the star performer on the night, etc. We want to know that. Still on cup football, it's like everywhere in the world is cup football.
It was cup football. And cup football week this week.
A GOAT participated in a cup game in Saudi Arabia. This is the second competitive game, and Al-Nassr are unfortunately been eliminated from the Saudi Super Cup. And it's quite sad to be honest. And as Ronaldo was walking off the pitch, the fans were chanting Messi like, it's okay now, Ronaldo should just retire, but I guess that's the thing is getting paid that much.
So I feel like it's just interesting because at the end of the day, this was a game that I promise you, before Ronaldo went there, we would not have given flying rubbers about. Like, we wouldn't have given 2 flying balloons about it, but Ronaldo is in that game. It was a cup game, and all eyes are on the game, a massive viewership and what have you. So that's all there is to it, I promise you. The eyes on the Saudi League, the eyes on the Saudi Cup, that's all there is to it. Ronaldo eliminated or playing or whatever.
But I mean, surely they wanted him in the final.
But he did have a good game. He's doing all those flicks and tricks and all of those things. So, I mean,
he's trying to give the fans
he's playing retirement football,
he's trying to give them a show, I guess. But the thing is, it's easy to say that, but I think because we know Ronaldo, for any normal footballer, I would say that, fair enough, they don't care.
Really
I saw Rooney in the MLS, I saw Bill, Bill doesn't care. But Ronaldo, Ronaldo cares. Ronaldo will not be Cristiano Ronaldo.
He paid him.
Yeah, exactly. He will not be Cristiano Ronaldo if he didn't care about things like this. So that's why I feel sorry for somebody else. I won't care. Because I know they don't care. But Ronaldo, he cares.
He probably wants to go there,
score,
win it,
of course,
and
he won't, go into the finals.
Yeah,
and for them to not be saying Messi on his head, that's not
Ronaldo he's such a competitive
player. He can't accept it. Doesn't care if he's sad. If you bring him to play 5 or 7, he wants to win. So that's why it's a bit of jokes from the other side of the
opposing fans.
But so that's our roundup on the football at the moment. It's a bunch of cup games. Let us know your predictions. Cup ties bring out, it's not a league. People are fighting for draws. So these ties do get very interesting. But we can travel over to the other side of the pond, and the other football, American football, the Super Bowl is coming up soon. And so they've had the conference games, and Sunday and Monday we have the conference finals, which is the Eagles and the 49ers versus the Chiefs and the Bengals. These are very exciting games. These are clearly the best 2 teams in the NFL, the best 4 teams in the NFL. And if you saw the semi-finals, the 49ers and the Bengals looked incredible. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely what you've seen over the season. But at the end of the day, who's your money on? But also, for non-NFL fans, what really catches our eyes, or what really catches most people's eyes, the performance, the Super Bowl performance. Who's performing? What would it be like? You know, the halftime show. What's it going to look like? And yeah, at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking out for, right?
It's a spectacle, nonetheless. But I saw a stat that really blew my mind. So the NFL, the Super Bowl, the average viewing or whatever is around 200 million people.
Yes, it's actually quite a number compared to the World Cup, 1.something billion people.
1.5 billion, and I think that's crazy.
It's crazy.
It seems that the Super Bowl, when you watch Super Bowl, it feels like this is the biggest thing in the world, but it just doesn't even compare.
I mean, it doesn't compare.
An average World Cup game is a bigger deal.
It doesn't compare, and it's not hard to see why, right? The NFL is largely an American sport.
It is an American sport.
American football is an American sport. Although they tried, recently to bring some attention to it in England.
Yeah, they play games
partnership
in England sometimes,
with Tottenham Hotspur. Mm-hmm. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium can turn into an NFL stadium, can turn into an American football stadium, and a football an actual football stadium. So it's a dual-purpose stadium like that, and but it's not really catching on. It's not really catching on.
People around the world are just not gonna play that.
It's not really catching on.
The teams are like 50 people, like a team of 20 defensive players, 20 offensive players. Like the amount of equipment you need. Football is the global game because anyone can play, bro. Roll up a bunch of paper and play football.
Is a truly global sport.
Yep.
Truly, I mean, it's one of those things. Nigeria, as divided as Nigeria, is one of the only times that we come together. Our one is when Nigeria, the Super Eagles are playing. So yeah, those are the things really.
So yeah, that's our roundup in the world of sport. Those are the biggest things going on. And let us know your thoughts, your predictions, your comments on what's happened before, what you think we should discuss in the next episode. If there are any topics that you feel we're not really touching on and you want to hear about it, let us know. Yep. And you can still come in and rep your club. So in the comment section, hit us up in the DMs, and yeah, you might have a chance to step up here.
Right.
All right, thanks for having us once again, and enjoy your weekends.
Peace.